wide receiver Mike Williams has found a new home. Did he go to the Pittsburgh Steelers? No. I don't know if you heard about this or not. Maybe not. So we learned that the Jets suck. The Jets agreeing to terms with the wide receiver, the unemployed wide receiver, Mike Williams, formerly of the Bolts, a one-year deal worth up to $15 million. Now, you know the term up to, classic weasel terminology. You ever go shopping online and they say up to 50% off, you know that's bullcrap. You're maybe getting 1% off or something like that. All right, so you got to read the fine print. But let us discuss the question, what is the temperature? What is the temperature on Mike Williams signing with the Jets? So I've got Vision Pro, Puff Daddy, and Teddy Roosevelt. And we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to make a big fire truck. When I came into work, there were 8 fire trucks across the street. Somebody's been going around Sherman Oaks here lighting things on fire. Wonderful. Just absolutely great. Anyway, all right, so to answer the question, what is the temperature on Mike Williams signing with the Jets? So if you listen to the New York hype machine, which is everywhere, it's sensory overload. Every radio station, I've worked on radio a long time. Everywhere I've worked, there's always been, I've worked do TV now. Everywhere there's Jets, there's always Jets fans. So if you listen to the hype men, the Jets hype men, this is Mike Williams. I didn't know this before. I was educated. Mike Williams is the love child of Randy Moss and Jerry Rice. I didn't realize that when he was playing for the Chargers, but apparently he is. Everyone's telling me that. He's a God's gift to the wide receiver position. All the hardcore Jets fans they're having orgasms thinking about Mike Williams arriving there with the Jets. Now they've got Garrett Wilson on one side, Mike Williams on the other, and it's going to be a touchdown party for Aaron Rodgers. They're going to all drink ayahuasca in the end zone and have a fine time. That is a loaded receiver room. Now, my response, a little bit more measured, my response. Here's why. My interpretation of Mike Williams as a ball player, he is like Apple's Vision Pro headset. Have you seen that? It's been around for a little bit now, that headset. Yeah, because he's better in virtual reality than the actual reality of playing games, because Mike Williams hadn't done a whole lot in a fair amount of time. And the nerds come up with all these stats to indicate, well, if you dig deep enough, you can find a stat that will make anyone look good or anyone look bad. Depends how you want to look at it. But you just have to dig deeper and deeper and deeper. But in the real world, I like to think that's the world I live in. I don't know. You'll have to decide. But in my world, Mike Williams, I've seen a lot of Charger games. As you know, I freeload out there. I'm a media freeloader. I go out there to a fair number of games every year recently. And when I've watched Mike Williams, I've seen an injury-prone player who stopped performing right around the time he clicked send on the DocuSign for his contract, and he got the big money. And so you look around, he's got the bad hammy, he's got a back, an ankle, and at the moment, we're told Mike Williams still recovering from the mangled, shredded ACL that he suffered in week 3 of last season. So you've got that on top, and he'll definitely be camping. At one point or another, Mike Williams will be camping at the big tent, the injury tent there on the sidelines during the 2024 season. You can book it. That is a guarantee. I would bet the mortgage that Mike Williams will be, and he's going to end up missing some time, probably a lot of time with injury. All right, headline, we move now to La La Land. Did the Rams make a big signing? No, they did not. They did welcome steroid cheat Jimmy Garoppolo to the team. So Garoppolo's there and will likely end up playing because the chances of Matthew Stafford making it all the way through the season are also slim and none. But the Ram thing here, you've got Sean McVay, who I just read this story. Shawn McVey described as a master recruiter in free agency. Now, I don't know if you saw this or not. It came across my attention. Now, people send me crap, and sometimes I click on it, sometimes I don't. This one caught my attention because the level of bullcrap was through the roof. I was like, oh, that's a lot of bullcrap. So it was buried behind a paywall, the old gray lady, the Athletic, several players, and multiple NFL agents That's quality reporting. Several players and multiple agents all have told The Athletic over the last several days that Shawn McVay is the best recruiter over the phone, and it's not even close. And whatever he says, he leaves a strong impression. That's the quote. So how much stock, here's the question, how much stock do you put in to Rams coach Shawn McVay being the top recruiter among NFL head coaches? So the way I would answer this, it's true perhaps, but it's not relevant. It is irrelevant, right? Like, it's true, but it doesn't really matter. It's like a non sequitur. It's like, well, it's true, but it doesn't really. And here's why. As I learned from Puff Daddy back in the day, it's all about the Benjamins with free agency. And not a single player has signed a contract with the Rams this offseason because of a pep talk from Shawn McVay. It hasn't happened. Okay, and as we know, as we get older and we know the way of the world, money talks, and actually it doesn't even talk, it swears. It doesn't talk, it swears. And when people bring up, and we hear this from time to time, there's these bleeding heart sports bloggers, they'll say, well, it's not about the money. It's always about the money. It's always about the money. It's not a level playing field. And if you have the cash, it doesn't matter if you have the general of doofuses as your coach, total meathead loser as your head coach. Doesn't matter. If you got the money, you're going to get the player. That's usually how it works. All right, last word here. So we head now to the big board, Benny's big board. Now, I realize we're over a month away from the NFL draft, so we have a fair amount of time to go before that. But senior draft dork Mel Kiper, he's still around. How old is Mel Kiper? He's got to be like old. He's been doing this for a long time. Going back to the 80s, Mel Kiper's been the draft guy. He's been doing it a while. Anyway, I don't know how old Mel Kiper is, but that's not important. So he is the senior draft nerd that all the other nerds look up to, right? They pray. It's like Buddha. The Buddha of the NFL draft is Mel Kiper, and people just pray to Buddha, Mel Kiper. So Mel Kiper recently said that he saw, quote, a little Drew Brees in Bo Nix while evaluating the Oregon quarterback, which you might want to go to a doctor if you have a little Drew Brees in you. That might be a medical condition. But that aside, I think we know the point. So Bo Nix projected as a top 5 quarterback. All these mock drafts I get sent to me all the time. I look at them. I scan them. So Bo Nix being said to be a top 5 pick in the draft, and now compared by Mel Kiper, being compared, Bo Nix, to Drew Brees. That is blank. All right, so the word is obviously hyperbole. That's hyperbole. Mel Kiper doesn't know. He's often wrong about most of the things he says. So there is that. And as Teddy Roosevelt pointed out years ago, comparison, a thief of joy. And my main complaint, I do the same rant every year, and I'll probably do it several more times before the draft, is that these comps, you go to these draft websites and the scouting reports, and they always have the comp. And they're never compared to a turd. Like, no one's saying Bo Nix is the next Nathan Peterman. I haven't seen that anywhere. Now, if somebody wrote that, and then I would take these comparisons seriously. If somebody said, quarterback, go down the list. Michael Penix Jr. reminds me a lot of Jacoby Brissett. Then I'd be, okay, we got something, right? There we go. All right, I like that. Just as an example. And so Kiper used all the usual cliches when talking about the comparison. He talked about hand size, the weight. Says neither one of them has a big arm, blah, 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 blah. But indirectly, might I point out, Mel Kiper is essentially saying that Bo Nix should not be drafted in the top 5. Drew Brees was a second-round pick. He was not a first-round pick. He was a second-round pick. So Bo Nix, second-round pick. Now, it used to be, back in the old days, you would never draft a quarterback that high who did not have a bazooka. You had to have a bazooka to be drafted high. And if you had, it's kind of like in baseball, where now they pretty much only draft pitchers in baseball that throw 95 to 100 miles an hour near the top. And then if you're a junk ball pitcher, they might not even draft you. Although draft you in the 50th round or whatever. I don't even think they have 50 rounds anymore in the baseball draft. But that's the point, right? It used to be, well, you got to have unbelievable velocity and have that cannon arm to be drafted? Not so much. But the most important thing is accuracy. It's decision-making and accuracy. Those are the two most important things. If you have those, you can have a noodle arm and be relatively effective. Fill out your tourney bracket now in the Fox Sports Radio Bracket Challenge. Here's how it works. You visit foxsportsradio.com to register. You should have that saved already. Fill out your bracket and get rules compete against Fox Sports Radio talent and fellow listeners to see who has the best bracket. The winning bracket wins the ultimate college sports trip for you and a friend with a $2,000 graduate hotel gift card. How cool is that? A $1,500 travel credit and a basketball swag bag. I'm all about the swag bag. You get that if you win this. The FoxSportsRadio.com Bracket Challenge is now live, and it is presented by Graduate Hotels, where college fans stay, and by Tractor Supply. So good luck. Again, FoxSportsRadio.com. Register, fill out your bracket. Good luck to you.